everyone, today's lesson is going to be looking at rounding. We're going to be continuing with what we were doing the other day when we were rounding money to 2 decimal places. Today's lesson is going to be rounding to just 1 decimal place. So I am learning to round. By the end of this lesson, hopefully we will be able to round to 1 decimal place. We will know to use the second number after the decimal to determine how to round, and we can state what 2 numbers a given number lies between. So that's what we're going to start with first of all. So I have a number line here. At one end of the number line I have got 3.1 and at the other end I've got 3.2. So right in the middle we would have 3.15. If I had the number 3.17 and I needed to work out, is 3.17 closer to 3.1 or 3.2? First of all, where is it on the number line? Well, it would come after the 3.15, so it would roughly lie where I've pointed to there on the number line. So therefore, it is closer to 3.2. Let's have another look at another example. This number line, I have got 19.8 at one end and 19.9 at the other end. So right in the middle would be 19.85. So where would 19.83 lie on the number line? Well, it would come before the 19.85, so it would roughly lie about there, which means it is closer to 19.8 than it is to 19.9. So you might have noticed by now, we are looking at the second number after the decimal point, the second decimal place. As before, if it is a 5 to 9, we round it up, and if it is a 0 to 4, we round it down or just leave that first decimal place as it is. So let's have a wee look at these examples first of all. So 7.68, 9.31, 10.89 and 14.625. We're going to look at the second number and decide. So you can pause the video here, have a wee think, and we'll go through them in just a wee second. Okay, so look at this first one. So we've got 7.68, so we're looking at that 8. So because 8 is higher, we're going to round up, and it is closer to 7.7. For the second one, we're looking at the 1, the second number after the decimal point, and because it is lower, in that lower category, we're rounding down, which just means we leave that number as it is, so it becomes 9.3. For the third one, we're looking at the 9, and 9 is obviously a higher number, so it becomes 10.9. We round it up to the next number. The last one, be careful because we're still only looking at that second number. Even though that there's 3 numbers after the decimal point, we're only focusing on that second number. So because it is a 2, we're going to just leave it as it is, and it becomes 14.6. On the screen just now, I have got some examples for you to work through. Please only look at the second number after the decimal point to decide whether you're rounding up or down. Even though some of them have more than 2 numbers, you're only focusing on that second number. So pause the video here, work through these examples, and we'll get the answers in a second. Awesome, so let's have a look at the answers. So for A, it was 4.4. B, it was 1.9, we round up. C, it was 7.4, again we're rounding up there. D was just 8.4, we just leave it because the 3 doesn't change the 4. E was just 4.0 or just 4. If it's only 0.0 after a decimal point, there's no other numbers, you don't need to put the 0.0, you can just leave it as 4. For F, it was 3.1. For G, it was 14.9. For H, it was 0.3. And for the last one there, it was 0.1. Hopefully you got those all correct. If not, go back and have a wee look. Remember, just looking at that second number after the decimal point. Okay, what I would like you to do now, the second activity, if you grab a calculator and it's asking you to use a calculator to solve these sums, and then round the answer to 1 decimal place. So type these sums into a calculator, and then whatever answer you get, round it to 1 decimal place. So work through these examples and we'll get the answers in a wee second. Okay. So for the first answer, you should have got 5.6, and then 18.5, 13.7, 6.9, 5.2, and then 18.9 for those answers. If you got any of those wrong, it might have been maybe you typed the wrong thing into the calculator perhaps, or it could be a rounding issue, so just maybe double check and see what happened if you got any wrong. If you got them all right, well done, that's fab. Okay, last activity. This is a non-calculator activity, so put the calculators away. So round the numbers to one decimal place first and then complete the addition. Okay, so let's have a look at these examples first of all. So for example, in A, we're going to round 3.29 and 5.52. We're going to round those two numbers first and then we're going to complete the addition. You should be able to do this mentally. If you need to do a little side sum, an addition or subtraction chimney sum for example, that's absolutely fine. Be careful, some of them are addition and some of them are subtraction, so just make sure you're doing the right calculation. Pause the video here, work through these, and I've got the answers coming up next. Okay, let's have a look at how we should have rounded them first. So the first one, we should have had 3.3 plus 5.5. B, we should have had 18.6 plus 3.3. Then we should have had 9.7, take away 4.2. Then D, 0.9 plus 3.6, sorry. And then for E, it was another subtraction sum, so it was 14.9, take away 8.6. So that should be how you rounded it first of all. Let's have a look at the answers. So for A, it was 8.8, B, it was 21.9, C, it was 5.5, D, it was 4.5, and for C, it was 6.3. Well done on your rounding today. Hopefully you now understand how to round to one decimal place, and we'll have worked through those activities really well. Well done everyone, I will speak to you all later.